What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Second Guessing with Stress, and I'm your host Garrett Williams, aka Texans commenter. And yeah, it's a couple days removed, but obviously we're feeling good. We took care of business in Baltimore. Obviously there's a lot of history there, and the fact that we've never won there. Our record overall against the Ravens was pretty bad, and obviously it was a game that we should have won, and we handled business. And to me, it looked great in all three phases and couldn't have looked any better. So I'm very pleased with the outcome. It's something where I believe that we should be happy with what happened, and try not to get too high on it, but also we can't sit there and just try and downplay it and act like it's nothing. Like, you can still have the mindset of being happy with what happened and celebrating it and seeing, them doing what they're supposed to do and taking care of business, and seeing signs of progression. And you can also still have the mindset of, I need to see it again. It's just been funny, I don't know if it's really in the Texans fan base, but Ravens fans in particular, trying to gatekeep wins, acting like we can't even talk about it and celebrate it, acting like, oh, like, you know, of course you beat us. All of our guys are hurt. No Lamar, this and that. Like, yeah, it is what it is. You can only play who's in front of you. But all those same fans were all chirping all week how they're going to beat us without all these players and how Henry's going to do this and do that. And then as soon as they lose, they switch up and start acting like, it's just, I mean, this is how it is. The Ravens, they do have a big portion of their fans. I have a lot of respect for their fan base and their team and organization that are very respectful, and like, they're like, yeah, dude, yeah, y'all earned the win. Like, y'all deserve it, celebrate it. And even like, I've been to two games in Baltimore. I went to the 2012 game where we lost in the playoffs when Jacoby Jones had muffed that punt, and when not Case, TJ Yates was starting for an injured Matt Schaub. And then I won in 2023 in the playoffs. And the fans were pleasant both times. So shout out Dot on X, says, what's up, man? Shout out King Colby, says, what's good, bro? You blessing or stressing? I'm blessing, man. I'm big blessing. And then let's see over here in the IG chat, MNLSF06 says, go Texans. He also says, I saw Jair Alexander and Nate Wiggins out there not doing good either. Yeah, I mean, so again, people, mostly Ravens fans, maybe some Texans fans, trying to water down the win. But yeah, they missed obviously key pieces, but they had guys out there, like mentioned. They had Jair Alexander, Nate Wiggins. They still had Derrick Henry. They still had Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. I mean, they had some big pieces that were there. And if you look at last year for the Ravens game against us on Christmas Day, yeah, we had CJ Stroud, but we were missing Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward, Aziz Alshire. We were missing who else were we missing? We were missing Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. I mean, we were missing even more than that. We were missing like 7 to 8 starters in that game too. But like, we didn't make an excuse. They beat us, and we're like, hey, we got beat. But a lot of their fans, the way they're dealing with it is, I mean, they're acting like, I wish Lamar had played, because I believe firmly that we still would have beat their ass. Obviously not like that, but we still would have won that game. Like, we were the better team from top to bottom. They have a terrible defense. Yes, our offense was one of the worst to begin with, but a lot of these proclamations are being made early in the season about everyone claiming to know who's who. That's what I've been trying to hammer home is, the NFL, it changes every year, but everyone wants to bring, everything from last year and extrapolate it to the next year and assume that's what it is. Like, assume this team was good last year, they're good again, or this team was bad last year, they're bad again, or 1 to 2 weeks in, like, a team can't change within a matter of time. But the big thing with the Texans I've been preaching specifically is the Texans O-line. Last year it was terrible. And so we're bringing back in this notion, especially national media, that it's still just as bad, if not worse. And it's simply not true. Like, and I talked about it on here going into the game, how, I thought the national media was, I guess I kind of like made a tweet more so about it the next day, but the O-line to me has been doing pretty good this year. They're like closer to average. I would have them like around 18 or so, but now they're probably around 15, around average, which is what we need to be a contender. as opposed to like 32 or 30th last year. But you listen to every preview of the game on every national network of the Ravens Texans game with all these injuries and not only are people like half of them picking the Ravens, but they're saying, "Oh, it's a close, low-scoring game. Texans offensive line sucks." And no, it's not true. Like the O-line is much improved. They fixed the biggest issues, which was mental mistakes and allowing unblocked pressure. So that's problem number one. And overall, the personnel's better. It's new. It's different. You have Ursary. He's a left tackle. Is a rookie, still learning and ascending. And it matters who we played. We played the Rams with a damn good D line. We played the Bucks with a pretty good D line, a good run defense. And we played the Jags, who everyone thought was ass because of last year. But turns out, guess what? The Jags are good, and their defense is really good. It's one of the best defenses in the league. And so you couple that with the fact that everyone has these preconceived notions of what the O line is this year when it's completely different. All the personnel is different. Only one same player, but he's playing a new position. Titus Howard, right tackle. New OC, new scheme. New backs, new receivers. CJ Stroud having command, but then also the fact that it's a new offense, so like it's taking time to learn. You have first-time play caller. Kaylee's taking time to grow into the role. And you play these three good defenses. And then the Titans, too. I know they're bad. But then it's like, oh, well, they're bad. And, like, again, you get knocked for taking care of business. And then now it's the Ravens. Like, well, yeah, of course it's the Ravens. It's like it's just constant, like, goalposts moving from the national media where they just don't want to give us any credit. Like, all week, all you've seen about anything from that game is how bad the Ravens sucks. Ravens this, Ravens that. Where the hell is the talk about the Texans? Like, we dominated every aspect of that game, and nobody wants to give us freaking credit for anything. It's such bullshit. And like, you look at week one, the Bills win in a shootout. They should have lost, came back and beat the Bills. Oh my God, Josh Allen, MVP. He's so good, blah, 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 blah. All this bullshit. But then now that's already ingrained. Like, Josh Allen gets all the hype. Last week, the Chiefs beat. Oh my God, Mahomes, who didn't have as good of a game as CJ Stroud. Oh, he's back. The Chiefs are back. Mahomes is so good. But then now the Texans dismantled them worse than any of those teams did. And it's, oh, the Ravens are bad. They suck. Texans still suck. Like, it's just such bullshit. Like, there's this, mindset going in from last year and then the beginning of this year because we were 0-3. Yes, we were on here. I was upset. We were upset. And it wasn't great. But, like, we're just ignoring these factors. And, like, it's extreme double standards. So, like in that small example, like Allen and the Bills and Mahomes and the Chiefs get all this praise and then we don't. Like, the same thing is done as far as like we played three good defenses. And so rather than say, hey, they're 0-3, the offense looked bad, but they played three good defenses, no one's saying that. They just said we sucked. But then now they want to mention the defense sucking when we do good. It's like, that's bullshit. You can't, like, it's such a double standard. Like, but honestly though, like, it's not a terrible thing because people are sleeping on us. It's a better way to be, but it's just funny too. Like, it's still early. Like, everyone wants to proclaim this team's good, that team's bad, this guy's good, that team's bad. Like, we still don't know. Still, things are still developing, but that's a game that I think we still win with Lamar in the game. Like, Lamar has not been playing at his MVP caliber level. Week one, he looked good. You know why? Because their run game worked because the Bills' run defense sucks ass. Okay? Now they played a good run defense. No Lamar obviously is a factor, but even if he was in there, we would have shut Derrick Henry down, and that would have stopped their whole offense. Their O-line sucks. Lamar is holding on to the ball a lot. Like, he's got the longest time to throw, which is a double-edged sword because he's a playmaker, so he can extend the plays. But normally he does it and makes plays, but now he has the highest percentage of sacks or pressures that he's responsible for because he's holding on to the ball too long trying to be a superhero. And then he has like a crazy high number of sacks that are his fault. Like, he hasn't been playing good. The Texans defense would have still beat their ass. The Texans offense still would have beat their ass on defense. And like, it's just, I mean, it's frustrating as a Texans fan. Like, people trying to water it down on both ends, acting like we can't enjoy it. But I mean, it is what it is. So, I try not to curse on here. A little early into this one, I got fired up about that, but let me hit the chat again real quick. Shout out BG, my guy. Rich Boy J, what's good, brother? He says Derrick Henry played on Sunday. I didn't even notice. Facts. That's what we were saying on here. Like, last year Foley Fatukasi was out against the Ravens, and he was out again. But we've had other tackles step up since then. We didn't have Azeez last year. That was the biggest thing. Christian Harris, we all thought would be good. Turns out he wasn't. He's not even starting now. Like I said, he wouldn't. EJ Speed took his spot. But Azeez, our Mike linebacker, was out last year. Of course, they ran it right up through the middle of our defense. But they don't want to mention that. Like they just want to mention they kicked our ass. Like it's again, that's another double standard there. But yeah, so we were missing players. Derrick Henry, there was a big tweet that was out. Like all the Ravens fans were hyping themselves up, like talking how they're going to win this game. Showing Cooper Rush highlights, how good he did against the Texans on the Cowboys last year, even though he got beat 34-10 and got his ass whooped. And it was part of the game plan. We had him be a check down merchant until he threw a pick or made a mistake. Showing stats from Derrick Henry against the Texans from almost all those games being from games before DeMeco Ryans was the head coach, completely different teams, using that as like proof of how they're going to beat us. But then when we beat their ass, like, oh, we were injured. Like, fucking bullshit. So, but yeah, so like the Derrick Henry thing, like we knew that, the first year when he was on the Titans, yes, different team. DeMeco knows how to shut down a run game. And Derrick Henry, I haven't been as scared of him. Like, they proclaimed him to be a beast and back because of week 1, but like the Bills' run defense was ass. The holes that he was running through were like wide open. It wasn't because Derrick Henry was a beast. And guess what? He fumbled late in the game to lose them the game. So it's just, I don't know. It's frustrating, but King Colby says, before you get into the show, did you see Dalton out there? 86 had a couple pancake blocks on Sunday. I did. And so that's great to see. I mean, Dalton Schultz, and he's getting involved too in the pass game, short, quick passes. And he's actually been blocking good in the run game all year. And I think it might be a product. I've been saying this, and it must be true. Maybe he's a better blocker at gap scheme, more, downhill blocking the guy in front of you as opposed to wide zone and out on the move and thinking. So he's been doing good. He still had some plays, against the Jags with the effort, but I mean, it seems to be improving. And yeah, I mean, he deserves a lot of credit. So shout out Dalton Schultz. Dot says, I hate how every media pundit not giving us credit for our win, but when the Chiefs won, they boosted Mahomes to the second best odds in MVP. It's the same defense Lamar played half their game too. As some facts. Yeah, it's just like, it is what it is, man. I mean, we're not going to, I guess it's better too, like, us being fans of a franchise that's new and then lately, being bad and then starting to be good. We've like, never been a legit contender. So we don't really know how to feel or like how to respond to all this stuff as fans. But we've learned though, 2023 surprise year, CJ DeMeco, 2024 expectations through the roof, and kind of came back down to earth with the offense, just laying the egg out of nowhere. So we've learned to temper our expectations, or at least I have. And it's, and I think that's like part of the overall. I feel like that's what I said going into this year. Like this year, the expectations for 2024 going to the year are what they should be this year. And then again, we had them this year start 0-3. I still was, I was stressing, but like I still could see a path out and still do. But I kind of lost my train of thought there. But it takes time. Damn, I totally lost my train of thought on that thought. But some of my expectations. Yeah, so we're learning as fans how to deal with it. So it is what it is, man. I mean, screw them. Dot says, I just read that. And then BG, Dalton Schultz, a.k.a. Mr. Contract Year. Yeah, go figure. King Colby, man, I didn't recognize him out there Sunday. That was a crazy bro was putting boys in the dirt. Yep. And then Javi says, Greg Newsome to the Jags. And then Chris says, I can't give Jags props yet. To be honest, it's still early in the season. Facts. I mean, too. So, like, they appear better than what they are now, but they beat us, who we were ass, right? I mean, they beat us in a game that we played freaking terrible. And, like, we gave them that game. We had 3 turnovers in their end of the field, a fumble, a pick, and a pick to end the game. Their touchdown came off of a big play to Brian Thomas Jr. on 3rd and 8. Where C.J. Gardner-Johnson didn't switch the assignment and a banjo concept, and then from there you just let them score a touchdown. So to get you the ball back. So I mean, that's a game we very easily could have won. Obviously the Bucks too. C.J. G.J. had a play in that game where he gave a touchdown. Henry T missed tackle on top of the offensive woes. And then obviously week 1, Rams. You had the 3rd and 8 to Puka. You had the Dare fumble in the other end too going in. So I mean, it's not excuses. It's just perception and perspective matters. It's just funny how some teams, again, double standard can be looked at as, oh, they played a tough opponent, close game, but then we don't get the same benefit of the doubt. So shout out Black Lion, says preach. That's my guy. Austin DeSouza says, any chance you think we get McDaniels if the Dolphins fire him? I mean, I understood we were frustrated. I never got to where I was saying fire Kaylee. Like, the person that seat got hottest and will remain to be the hottest if things start to go south again, to me, is Caserio, because of the way mostly he approached the O-line. I would assume if we struggle through the O-line, but they've been good. So, right, obviously, Ed Ingram, who I preach, hey, let's give him a chance, different scheme. One of the best guards in the NFL, but left guard, Laken Tomlinson, that was a gamble. Now Juice Scruggs is playing there. He didn't grade well PFF wise. You can look at that again, not end all be all, but now you're rolling the dice with Scruggs, your left guard. So to me, that's kind of dicey. And and you rolled the dice into where you got a veteran, Cam Robinson, to battle it out with a rookie. And, the rookie beat him out, and he's going to be great and is improving, but you couldn't afford this slow start. You put too much on him early on to perform. So hopefully, I don't think it's going to be a big enough hole to matter. But I mean, but yeah, Kaylee to me is evolving. All the things. And so this is why I got hyped up on him in the offseason. Again, wasn't in love with the hire at first. Like, he was like 3rd or 4th on my list. But then as soon as I dug more into it, he seemed to be different than what I thought. I thought it'd be too similar to Shanahan's scheme, which he's more New England, which I know people don't like, but I kind of like myself because it is a player's offense. You are empowering the players to make decisions, whether it's the quarterback, the running backs, the linemen, the receivers on routes. And these are things that takes time, especially if it's players that haven't been used to this freedom, to be able to learn how to react on the fly, but also be on the same page on what the other person's expecting you to do on the same side of the ball. And so, but anyways, the big reason that Nick Caley was hired is because we fired Slowick because he couldn't adapt and adjust. Like, DeMeco spelled it out. And then when he hired Caley, every interview from the very first one on, from him, CJ, Caserio, Caley, adapt and adjust, adapt and adjust, adapt and adjust, not only to your own personnel, whether it's what you have in the room, injuries happen, but also to the opposing defenses. And, early on, it felt like it wasn't doing much of it. But what he's done since then, yes, we've played 2 bad teams, 2 bad defenses, but he has adapted and adjusted. Early on, he had some tendencies where, anytime you were in this formation or, shotgun under center, you're likely to do this, or, we didn't run play action. And maybe that was him finding his way. Maybe that was him setting up things in the future. He has adapted and evolved in that sense as far as throwing curveballs for defenses. And now you're seeing concepts where we keep running this play. One example is, a play action boot rollout where flood concept, a backside crosser, and then a corner. So both of the routes going with the quarterback. And now the one to Kirk was, okay, backside crosser, and then Kirk fakes the corner and then cuts back across the field for a Yankee concept for a deep crosser. CJ rolls and stops and throws it for a big gain. So that's something, is you start putting stuff on tape and then you show a counter. And so now that's on tape to where, hey, they do this a lot, but sometimes they might fake it. So now you're in the defense. You're like, well, which one do we guard? So you can keep the defense honest. So I've noticed that he's adapted to injuries. I mean, a big part too that we aren't talking about enough for the offense. Obviously the defenses we played were better than we thought the first 3 weeks, but tight end's a big role in this offense. We lost Cade Stover. We lost Brevin Jordan. We lost Irv Smith. We lost another guy, I believe. We lost Jakob Johnson. I mean, we've lost 4 to 5 tight ends in a tight end heavy offense. And so Schultz had a bigger role. Harrison Bryant came in and done some stuff. The Jakob Johnson injury was huge. British Brooks comes in. Now, British Brooks that to me is Caley adapting and evolving. Found a guy. Obviously, he's on the roster and can show that he can do some stuff, but not only do you put him in there, but you give him 2 fullback dives on a 3rd and I believe a 4th down, and gets 5, 6 to 10 yards on each of them, bro. Like that is huge. So like I'm very encouraged. So that kind of came from Austin's question about McDaniels. I don't fucking want that. Hell no. Like one is way too early. Two, I still believe in Caley. I was never out. I was starting to get worried about him. Once he took care of the Titans game, like I've been good since, like as far as my concerns, given all the factors I said, like give him time. And a big part of it too is CJ is finally getting more control of the offense. And I think we talked about it last week, but I assumed, I think a lot of us assumed like they were going to give him the keys right off the bat, but I think they kind of have been easing him into it. But now I think they're realizing, hey, like give him that shit, dude. And part of it too is yes, he's very cerebral, very intelligent, in my opinion, but he is going to have to continually improve. I mean, yes, he did it in high school and college, but now this is your first time IDing the mic and being able to set audibles and change the protection, all this stuff in the NFL where things are very exotic, very creative. And so, yes, it's a learning curve for him. So he's probably had some hiccups. It's hard for us to tell as fans because we can't see and hear. We're not in the meeting room, but there's been clips of him saying after week 1 against the Rams where I had a couple, miss IDs on me. I had 2. That's on me. You've heard Casero kind of allude to it. DeMeco kind of allude to it. And so he has had some responsibility for that, but you can't, I mean, what do you expect? Yeah. So that's another thing to say, hey, this is starting to click and get going. Ray Rollison says the Texans will never get flowers from the national media. Don't expect to look for it. Yeah. And I don't know that I'm saying I expect it and, I maybe shouldn't complain about it, but, you can't help but complain. And I honestly don't, I don't hate it in the sense that like, all right, it's nice to be slept on. Your favorite white boy at 12 on IG says I'm enjoying every second of it. I agree, man. That's what I said. I made a big post about it. Like, especially given the circumstances, it's the Ravens dominated us, beat us in the playoffs, beat us on Xmas Day, beat us in the playoffs twice. That 2012 game I talked about. And to me, it's like, we exercise our demons. Like, and you can't tell me whether I can enjoy that or not because you didn't have this player, that player, this player. Fuck that, dude. Like, we beat y'all's fucking ass. It feels good. And I don't care who the opponent is, good team or not, depleted or not, putting up that kind of dominant performance is a good thing. It's a fucking good thing. And if you watch the mic'd up, which we'll go through my timeline, like our offense has fucking confidence. CJ has confidence. He won player of the week. Shout out CJ. He's fucking dealing. He got time. His O-line's protecting. Great play calling. Nick Caley found his groove. Was fucking dialing it up. He was scheming up plays. That's something I started to notice in the Titans game where he schemed up open plays, 2 open plays for CJ quick right off the bat. The touchdown pass to Woody Marks, a play he saw on film during the week, Woody Marks said, and they knew when they got this look, he'd be wide open, boom, touchdown, 20-yard touchdown. Easy. Okay, your quarterback needs that. There was another one for Kirk where he motioned him multiple times and gets him open. These are all things that all the good OCs with all the good quarterbacks have these. And so they're not expected to make every play on their own. They can rely on their play caller to help them out. He did that a lot in this game too. And that was, I know we didn't dive too much into the preview on the Ravens here last week. I said I would do it. I wrote an article instead. Sorry, I didn't do another stream. But, with them having injuries and young guys in the secondary and defense already, and then even more young guys coming in for injuries, communication was one of my biggest keys to the game. Like their communication was going to be bad, especially Roquan was out there, Mike linebacker who wears the green dot, gets the voices in. And then Kyle Hamilton, who also would sometimes do it if Roquan couldn't, he was out. So now they had someone that was a first-time green dot wearer. So that means calls were getting in late. And then also with Zach Orr, he tried to continue on the same defensive scheme that Mike McDonald had before him, which was, very creative, exotic 3-4 defense with all kind of disguises and simulated pressures and all kind of crazy confuse you type stuff. And he's continued to do that, but with young guys all season. And in my opinion, obviously their personnel is lacking, but I think it's because he hasn't adapted that DC to, hey, I normally like to run this, but now I have young guys who don't know what they're doing. And so now if I try and get too cute, they can mess up or they get caught out of position, as opposed to like he should just call basic coverages and not disguise. So, but that being said, Kaylee knew that was a big deal. So he used motions and used deceit and changing the eye level. We had jet sweeps. Nico ran a jet sweep, faking jet sweeps. The touchdown to Jalen Knoll was badass. It was a fake toss left to Woody, and then Knoll motioned and on the same side, leaked out, wide open, touchdown, easy throw for CJ. He knew, oh, we got this look. I'm going to call this play. All I got to do is this, turn here, boom, touchdown. And, CJ looks awesome, but like Kaylee made that happen. And then it was also good to see, too, that CJ is also still evolving in the sense, like we talked about, IDing defense, stuff like that. So, like, now also we're able to use tempo and CJ could hunt out mismatches. So, like, they're depleted. Xavier Hutchinson on his second touchdown, I believe it was. CJ notices, okay, I got, Hutch on their worst corner, backside, one-on-one. I'm going to throw my back shoulder fade. Boom, touchdown. So that was something he ID'd and took advantage of. And then trying to go through my head, the other touchdown pass was to Nico on like a 10-yard in route. And that was on Nate Wiggins. And that was just good, recognition of the defense and anticipation and throwing it. And then the first Hutch touchdown was also a great play call. It was one where he was, condensed formation and he, sold the block and then leaked out, boom, open touchdown. So like, and what was cool too was continuing on the same theme that we saw in the Titans game where we had some of those big plays where, you have penalties or things go wrong and you just overcome that. Like before, long down and distance or penalties was drive killers, whether it was red zone or not. It was an excuse like, oh, well, we can't do anything because we keep getting sacks and penalties. Like who can convert in second and third and long? They had those big plays and the mindset changed, and that carried over again. Like in the red zone, we had a touchdown thrown to, I think, Harrison Bryant, and it was called back because of an OPI. Before, good fucking luck, drives over. Like, hopefully you get the field goal. You know what? We came back and converted after that. Third and long on the third and goal and third long and goal to go. We converted, and so there's a lot of that going on. So like again, continuing to see great things. And again, I'm not going to have it as far as people trying to piss on it saying, no, it's a bad defense. Like, fuck out of here, dude. Like, yes, that's true. And yes, we still need to prove it, but we can still acknowledge the fucking good shit that happened, the progress, the trends that we've seen. Like, I'm not trying to hear any of that bullshit, dude. Like, get that shit out of here. Sim Sam says, I heard that the Colts are going to the Super Bowl in mainstream media today. Made me laugh. Yeah, and like the Colts, here's the double standard. The Colts are being praised. You know who they beat up on? The fucking Panthers and the fucking Dolphins. And no one's saying shit about that. But then we beat the Titans and the Ravens. Oh, well, they beat the Titans and the Ravens. They fucking suck. And the Colts should have lost to the Broncos. I mean, it's like, so they could easily have the same record as us, or we could easily have a better record. The Jaguars, we should have beaten them. I mean, that 2-minute drive by Trevor Lawrence against the Chiefs was an absolute fucking fluke. I mean, that guy just fumbled and stumbled his way all up and down the field. And then before that had pick dropped on that drive. And even the ball that he threw down the sidelines to Brian Thomas Jr. I know I'm sounding like a hater, but all these people were like, oh, what a dime, what a throw. Like, it wasn't. Like, it should have been a pick, bro. Like, the corner, like, fell down. Like, it was a good play, don't get me wrong, but, like, it wasn't a perfect ball. He took a chance. It was contested, and it could have been a pick. Should have been a pick. And then, yeah, like, the final play we saw, he gets the snap, trips on his center, comes up, and Chris Jones just standing there, and then he runs in the end zone. And it was like, and that's good for them. It was a good win. And I think they're a decent team. I don't think they're elite or whatever. But yeah, like, again, like the standards, double standards. The other teams are getting viewed at in one lens and we aren't. So let me catch up on the comments. Ola Bosipo says, that's why the national media are nonsense, even local media as well. And I'll say real quick, if you could follow me on all platforms, even if you don't use them, I'm either at Texans Commenter, which is, I think, on X, TikTok, and then Instagram and Facebook. It's at Houston Stressans, Stressans. And then I have my website, HoustonStressins.com, free newsletter. Feel free to subscribe there. My show is called Second Guessin', Guessan, with Stressin on Apple and Spotify if you want to re-listen. And then on YouTube, my name is at Stressins. You can rewatch the lives on there as well. Sometimes I pin it to my profile on my X account, but appreciate you guys tuning in. And then Sim Sam says, haters gonna hate, bro. Facts. Olabasapo says, offensive line and play calling will get better every game. Facts. Jose Alberto, how much influence does Ryans have on the offense now? Or more like situational plays, asking for QB sneaks. I don't know. I can only speculate, but my speculation is it's a lot. And this is something that I've acknowledged with him that I've liked, and I think we all like. He's learning and evolving as a coach. He saw last year, okay, I'm delegating to my OC because I hired this guy to do a fucking job for me. I'm going to let him do it. And he saw how it went, and it started going downhill with Bobby. And then late in the year, you can see maybe he got involved and kind of righted the ship a little bit. And he realized, hey, okay, I'm going to fire him. And now I'm going to hire this new guy. But he probably told himself, like, you know what? My ass is on the line. Yes, I'm making the hire because I believe and trust in this guy. But even then, if I feel like he's doing shit that I think he shouldn't do, I'm going to step in and tell him, like, it's my fucking team. You know, like if you're running a business, just because you hired somebody, you're not going to not tell them what to do because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Like you're going to do what the fuck you think is right. And so I can't help but think that's what's happening with DeMeco. We hear about a couple weeks ago him delegating to Matt Burke, and all of a sudden the offense starts playing better. Pretty big coincidence, huh? And you know, and he conveys it in all these weekly interviews with Mark Vandermeer and John Harris, who like, we need to do this, we need to do that. And as Jose mentioned too, like on the mic'd up, he's like, QB sneak it here, QB sneak it here. Yes, thank you. It's like common sense shit. And then I will say this, another thought that I've had that I wanted to get to, just thought about it, but you know, I think a big thing for this offense is it is true what they want to do. Like I thought they would adapt and evolve when we had injuries and maybe spread it out more, which, you know, we've kind of seen some more of the tempo and a little more spread, but like their core identity is smash mouth physical football. That's what they want to do. And that's fine. You just have to be able to run the ball, which they've been able to do for the most part. But what I observed was those first three games, Rams, Bucks, Jags, three good run defenses. Like I was looking up the stats, like yards per game. They're like, I want to say they're all top 10 maybe in yards per game, but they're pretty good run defenses. And so that's a bad matchup for us. And so like if we're playing a good run defense and we can't run it, we need to go into that. We need to have the ability to, you know, adapt and adjust our game plan to our opponents with the game plan offense where, hey, if this is going to be a tough game to run, we need to come out firing, passing, and pass to open the run. But on the flip side, if we play a mediocre to bad run defense, our offense will thrive. It will absolutely thrive. The Titans, bad run defense, ran the ball all game, moved the ball, just kind of stalled here and there, you know, red zone. And so that's their game is run the ball, control the clock, time of possession, field position, take care of the ball, don't turn it over, and play good defense. And that happened with the Titans. Wore them down. You had almost 2-1 in plays on offense to their offense, and it worked. And then the Ravens, terrible run defense, run the ball down their throats. And then if you're running 4, 5, 6, 8 yards per pop, which Nick Chubb looks great, 4+ yards per carry again. He's being overlooked. He's a very effective running back. But now you open the play action. And guess what? We finally ran it under center. If a lot of your runs are under center, run your play action from under center. So it looks the same. And almost all these big plays from CJ were play action, which is what he thrived on in 2023. So, I mean, like, he's a good play action. Like, that is the recipe. But my concern going forward is these games where we play a stout run defense, that's a bad matchup for our offense. And that's where we need to be able to do more of the spread it out type stuff. But, you know, looking ahead, Seahawks, you know, their defense is being ranked as this and that. They have one bad game against the Bucks and get freaking a bunch of points scored on them. An offense that we shut down really held them to 13 points if it wasn't for that missed tackle by Henry T. And, you know, their rush defense is not that great. So this is a good matchup. And then going into that too, Mike McDonald is the head coach there, who was the DC for Baltimore a couple years ago. So they run the same kind of defense that we just saw. Not saying it's going to be the same result, but that's good for us. And I think it's easier to run the ball against these 3-4 defenses, 3 down linemen, and that kind of have guys off the ball and do all this moving around. So I think that's a good matchup. I think we could see a similar amount of success from our offense in terms of running the ball and play action off of it. So Austin Tucker says, "What's up, brother? Hope all is well. But until we beat one of the big 4 AFC teams healthy, the double standard against us will always be there." Yeah, that's fine, and you get it. And I guess some teams get benefit of the doubt from the years prior, but like a lot of it's media driven. Like the Chargers. Like the Chargers are crowned, and Justin Herbert, they're crowned as like Herbert's, head and shoulders above Stroud, and the Chargers are awesome. Look at the fucking Chargers. They're ass. I mean, they're the same as us. Like, I mean, at the least, right? And all these stats. Let's look at the stats too. Like, like CJ isn't that bad as far as total yards or yards per game and touchdowns. And then, Nico isn't too far off on receptions. And I was looking at it, and I'll probably make a post on it, but I already know the instant rebuttal is like, well, yeah, he got it all in one game. Well, what the fuck did Josh Allen do? He got it all in one fucking game. Lamar got it all in one fucking game. It's like, so you're going to like allow them to get stats in one game, but then if, CJ gets it in one game, it doesn't count. Again, it's like such hypocrisy. But, the point I'm making there is that it's not as bad as it seems. Like yes, it was a rocky start, but we've righted the ship. Yes, we did good against 2 bad defenses, but everybody has, and it's just a double standard. So things are starting to level out, and I feel good about the offense. Chris John even said this was their get right game and dominated. Yeah, no, I mean he didn't say that. He was saying this was a chance for them to get back on track. He didn't say get right game, but yeah, I mean their fans were humbled, and then their response to how they were humbled was, that doesn't count because our guys aren't playing. Like they were cocky as hell going in that game, man. Brandon says Kendon Green and CJ GJ are both Ravens who won the trade. That's crazy. I didn't even realize that. That's hilarious. Brandon Hallam, maybe Schultz was also angry they ruined his Christmas too. Yeah. Texan Storm, Dawson also being in contract year has him more motivated. Same with Titus. Austin says, bro, I can't believe Ed Ingram is the number 1 graded guard on PFF. Not saying it passes the eye test, but definitely in the run game. If he can develop, we have hope for the rest of them. Yeah, again, scheme matters. Texan Swarm, what do you think about Breece Hall and this team? We are getting predictable. Chubb out there. We don't need him. We already have Chubb and Marks, and you still have Pierce, but I mean, hopefully Mixon at some point. It depends on the price, what his contract would be and the capital given up. But to me, Chubb is getting better week by week. Like he looks spry in that game. He made some moves. He's still explosive, quick, good cuts, good vision, good power. And him and Woody are a perfect complement. Like you got the physical imposing back down the middle inside the tackles. And then you got Woody who can also do that. Obviously not as physical, but he has more of the explosiveness and sideline. And he opens up the playbook for Nick Caley. Like I mentioned, that fake toss play, that's not really a threat if Chubb's in there, but now Woody's in. Okay, hey, this guy can get to the sideline, and you're kind of, playing off of that. So Black Lion says, I asked this question yesterday. If you could make one trade at the deadline, which player would you go get or what position? Man, that's tough. I think left guard is probably our biggest weakness right now with Scruggs. But I don't know who would just trade a left guard that's capable of starting. And then if there's more transition for a left guard to get into an O-line as opposed to other positions. But I really haven't thought too much about that. I'll have to think a little more. And I don't know if you want this to be like a realistic one, like guys actually on the trading block, but it's tough. I'll start to think about that and revisit the closer we get. Austin Tucker, yeah, that's crazy. We might get Breece. Feel like we need a corner. King Colby, if they trade for a Hall, probably won't see Mixon this year, even Texans in uniform. Yeah, that would be, if for sure Mixon is out. But yeah, I mean, shit. Again, it depends on the price, but like that would be sick to have, obviously Chubb, Breece, and Woody as your 3 backs. Brandon says the early rest can help guys stay healthier. Other teams we face on our comeback tour. That's a good point. I mean, last year late bye, this year early bye, and then not only that, we come out of the bye playing on Monday night with an extra day. Like they're going to be real fresh. We should have a major rest advantage against the Seahawks. So, and they're going to be playing, I believe, the Jaguars, a tough defense, so they might get banged up. Texan Swarm says, I don't think Mixon will play another game as a Texan. Time to move on at this point. We got to make moves like he's not coming back. Yeah, it's tough to even make a guess. I was, being dumb and trying to like proclaim, I think I might know what happened. I thought it was just a tightrope ankle surgery, like a, procedural thing to clean something up, which guessing, talking to people, hearing rumors, I feel like that did happen, but then supposedly like another injury happened after. Like I even heard like his other foot got hurt, and which can happen if you get a surgery and you're rehabbing from one, you're now weak here and you may overcompensate with another muscle. That probably could have been what happened. So the whole thing is odd, but we'll see what happens. Shout out T.O. Scott on IG. Didn't we have like 5 or 6 starters out? Yeah, against the Ravens last year. Malik Wright, talk about Brees Hall trade. Yeah, again, I don't know if it's realistic. And then someone said Greg Newsome trade to the Jags on IG. Anish Maga says opinions on the best games coming up for us. I'm one game at a time, man. But we got a good stretch here. Shout out Abdul Afghani says super excited for the Seahawks game. Going to show a lot about our growth, in my opinion. Yep, I agree. I'm excited too. But I can already see it too. Like Texans win that game close, handily, whatever. I can already see the pivot. Like, oh well, yeah, the Seahawks aren't as good as we thought. Like they're bad. I can see that already, But it is what it is. Who cares? Let's get the dub. Ledesma, love more motion on the offensive plays. Yeah, so that was a big part of the adjustments. I thought, taking advantage of miscommunications was motioning guys. Ben Scott, Colt's going to fall off and calling it out. I agree, dude. Fucking Daniel Jones. And so on the flip side, the Colts, they're powered by the run as well, too. Jonathan Taylor's like leading the league in rushing, I believe. And so now, they're fucking every down and distance is second and short, third and short because they run the ball. So now it's easy for Daniel Jones and easy for Shane Steichen to call plays. But then now you also have play action off of that, which is what we saw, for Stroud. But when they play us, we have a good run defense. They haven't really played that many good run defenses. We will shut that shit down. Now what? Now what's your offense look like? So again, like, and maybe I'm wrong, but like it's too early on both ends to declare them great or declare them terrible. But we're prisoners of the moment. We can't really help it. But some of these teams, like it's just the double standards, whether it's from fans or media, whoever, like they want to look at one team with one lens and not look at certain factors like opponents. But then they want to look at other teams and then look at those factors. Like you have to do it consistently. So, and then, I got more news about the Greg Newsome news. Whatever. Preston the Goat says Texans revenge tour starts Monday. Facts. To Harry on IG. That's a good name. To Harry. Noel touchdown was one of the best design plays we've had all year. Yep. That's exactly right, dude. And then King Colby, Seth has me thinking he has a small leg, big injury going on. I don't know. I don't know if Seth knows. But yeah, so I mean, it's tough. And that was the first time we even got any answer from Casario yesterday when asked about it, even though he didn't really give us much. He said there'll be more information on 3 to 4 weeks, which, okay. And then he said, like, but then he said something about, like, we'll have information later. And then from there, we'll have a good idea of, like, how it will go for the duration of the season. So it sounds to me like we'll have more idea of where he's at by this point, and then it sounds like the team is like, all right, if we don't know by X amount, like we'll make a decision soon on what to do. And I haven't really looked into, the cap numbers as far as him not playing. I think you save money if he doesn't play from an NFI injury. I don't know. Contract, all that stuff. So, it's just a big mystery. I don't really want to say, I don't know anything. So, can't really say much about it, but I still hope that he's fine. And I hope also that Chubb and Woody playing well, if they continue to play well, can be something where now they can take their time to get him back. But if let's just say he's back in 4 or 5 weeks it will also take him time to get acclimated. Like he's got to be in the facility working out, and then you got to get in game shape. Hasn't played a game in a while, so now you got to work on mixing them in. I just made a pun there without meaning it. You got to mix in, but you can't just throw him into 20 snaps a game. You got to, is he okay going 5 to 10 snaps? So that's part of it too. Like, hey, is he like, he's a big dog alpha mentality? Like, is he going to be okay with not being the lead guy off the jump? And if it takes him several weeks, is he going to be frustrated with that? We don't know. So that'll all be stuff to monitor there. Ray Rolson, you can't fire Kaylee now. He and CJ are just getting synced up for sure, dude. I mean, I never had to fire Kaylee. I never said that. I was getting worried about him. I had concerns. I expressed them, but I never got that to that point. And now, hell no. I doubt it, but I pray they don't lose momentum in their bye. If we can win our next 5 games, fan delusion speaking, we can win out. Honestly, the stretch is the hardest stretch. I'm thinking the same way, bro. Like, like just off the top of my head, let me pull up the schedule here. But I was looking at it earlier. I was like, win. And you know what? I said it before the season, and I said it with DJ Bieneme on here when I interviewed him, and he kind of said, I don't know, man. I said this can be a historically great defense. And right now they are a historically great defense, giving up 12 points a game through 5 weeks, lower than what the 2002 Ravens, who ended up with 12 for the season at that point in time, were at. So, and that's considering the offense not complementing the first 3 weeks, basically not taking advantage of turnovers, field position, turning the ball back over and giving the opponents, good field position. It's considering 3 big plays that pretty much resulted in 3 touchdowns. You could argue 2 would have been field goals, but from CJ Garner-Johnson missing assignments, the Derrick Henry touchdown was fucking bullshit. That was such bullshit. And I haven't watched the All-22 completely yet, but 1, there was the penalty on Will Anderson Jr., which I want to see if that was legit. And then 2, the guy there was his forward progress stopped for like 3 seconds. And then he didn't even get the ball over the plane. They just fucking gave it to him. And so, like, when we're talking about points per game, obviously, garbage points don't matter in the game. But, like, if we're trying to, like, historically mark up this team and looking at this number, it's at 12 points per game. Like, we could be at, like, 8, realistically, if you take in the CJ, GJ alone. That's, up to 21 points. And so, obviously, your average would drop. But as good as it is, it could be even better. And it's the biggest thing for them to continue that path is, number 1, offense, playing complementary football, like at the very least, just getting first downs and not going 3 and out, just staying on the field to give them a breather, making sure the time of possession is close to even, or if not in our favor, and the plays are even if not in our favor, which in that Ravens game, dominated time of possession and plays 2-1 almost again. And then health, last year we had injuries on defense, which they will probably happen, but I feel like we got way more depth this year. You saw it last year. The biggest one to me was Petrie, and then you had Ward come in and play the nickel role, who wasn't that bad of a drop off, but then he got hurt, and that changed the whole defense. So I think they can be historically great, and they're on a historic path right now, and it's not being talked about enough. Dot says, I doubt it, but I pray we don't lose momentum in their bye. Okay, yeah, I got that. I'm going to try to scroll through some and probably get to some interviews and stuff like that, sound bites. And then, yeah, Preston the Goat says Colts back end schedule looks tough too. Exactly. So, I mean, like, our schedule so far seems front loaded, and a lot of these other teams that are up high seems back loaded. Like, they start out easy. We see it every year, man. And then Chris says the clip you posted earlier of Kelly getting high with Nico got me so hyped. I sense he wants to win really bad. Facts. So that this is when we talked about the OC, and what we learned is, like, especially with this guy that we got, like, it's not the scheme. We're not investing in a scheme. Like, I know we want to, like, pin it to New England Patriots, and yes, there's principles that mold to it, but we are invested in the person as our play caller, Nick Caley, and we are told that this guy is energetic, passionate, enthusiastic, and he's also willing to adapt and adjust. He also knows a bunch of different schemes and principles. He's also willing to collaborate with players and coaches. He's not just some domineering my way or the highway type mentality. So these 3 traits, now they're starting to show. I mean, it got scary for a minute because we were 0-3, but hey, I agree. Yes, and then shout out King Colby says running a lot of 6-man fronts too. Blake Fisher at tight end. That's been great. So that is another example of how he has adapted and adjusted. Okay, hey, we're missing tight ends, we're missing fullbacks. We got Blake Fisher. Let's fucking put him at tight end. And he's doing good in that role, and he's accepted that role, and he's doing good in it. Um, and now you just throw something else out there for the defense to look at. And I guarantee you, I just thought of this, and y'all are gonna freaking go crazy, but Kaylee is showing, from what I've seen, like him showing something and then showing it, and then doing this. Um, Blake Fisher could catch a pass. Blake Fisher could catch a touchdown pass. Call me crazy. Blake Fisher could catch a touchdown pass. He's playing tight end. You put him out there, you put him out there, you put him out there. Boom, throw him a pass. That could very well happen. If not another O lineman, but that would be nuts. That would be so sick. Black Lion says we also added running RPOs. We ran a few of them against the Ravens. Yeah, so I haven't fully gotten to the film. I know you pointed that out, but yes, exactly. So that's adapting and evolving. And now, like, the more shit you throw out there, the more an opposing defensive coordinator has to look at and worry about. Um, and so I'm just like a big fan of football in general. I even like watch the FCS, particularly the playoffs. And that's one thing I notice about the South Dakota State and North Dakota State teams, like when they've made their runs over this past decade or so. One thing that stood out to me was their offense. They would run 4 and 5 different personnel groupings on the same drive. They would go 5 wide, and they would go, 2 running backs, and they go 3 wide, 2 tight ends. Like, they would just constantly, they ran like 5 different offenses in the same drive, like with tempo, like in, out, change. And like, as a defense, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? So like, I'm kind of getting a little bit of that from Kaylee. The one part that we haven't seen is like the air raid spread it out. So like, if he can throw that in there at a certain point, which we have the personnel to do it, I mean, come on. But yeah, I'm encouraged. So Black Lion says, yeah, Mina Kimes said she swears our lines of Black Lion says Amina Kimes thinks our O lines are worse in the league. The whole national media does. Like, they're good, like they're average, and they're trending to be like potentially a top 10 O line by the end of the year, like the way it's going. I've pointed out a lot of the pressures that have happened have been running backs and tight ends, not the O line, and they're doing pretty good run blocking. Chris says good teams are supposed to put a whoop ass on bad teams. That just is what it is. If those games were close, they would have been saying we suck. Exactly. I mean, this happens and that. It's a bunch of BS. But no, Seattle's defense so far doesn't concern me. I haven't dove in that much. Yes. Okay. There's your answer, Black Lion. The one guy I would trade for would be David Njoku. We do need a tight end, and Njoku would be a beast on this team. That would be sick. Shout out Ethan Weber says, LFG, baby, just landed at IAH. I watched highlights from Seahawks week 4 and week 5 on the flight. I think we beat them. Facts. He says it'll be nice to sit back and watch them versus the Jags this weekend. Yeah, dude, it'll be a good litmus test. And that's great for we have the advantage. We have the rest advantage bye week plus an extra day for Monday night. We have the advantage that we just played the Ravens, who will run a similar defense to what the Seahawks ran. So we have that advantage too. And then we have the advantage of now watching a team we played 3 weeks ago and the Jags now play them. So we have a lot of advantages there. And King Colby says their O-line is suspect. Kane Sand says random, but I just want to say that Nick Chubb has been better than his stats show. I agree, bro. I just said that earlier. Said they have been several runs of 8+ yards. They got called back due to penalty. Good point. Yeah. And he looks spry. And then Stuzzy says great win ahead of the bye. Facts. Ryan Van Ness on Facebook with the Halloween pumpkin and the bicep. By the way, I started working out again, fellas. I'm feeling good. I actually lifted my legs for the first time in a while. Not today, yesterday. And I am not as sore as I thought today. So tomorrow, it's guaranteed that I'm not going to be able to walk. So y'all pray for your boy. It's going to be rough. Footballer 503. Did you see the Jags trade? How in the world were they able to pull it off? Wow. I haven't seen the details. I've seen all y'all talking about it, but I'll dive into it. But, whatever. Kane says we did what good teams do, beat bad teams. Facts. And so let's see. Jose Garcia. Hey, man. Coheed Thrice from X. Love shooting the shit with you on X. First time watching YouTube. Hey, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, I mean, I love, like, everything about this is, like, I love engagement. Like, I do it because I like it. Like, I love Texans, talking Texans, whether I agree or not. Um, and so like I try to be respectful as possible. Like it's tough on X sometimes, for me personally, like just texting in general, I can misconstrue stuff. And then me, someone who engages with a bunch of people all the time, I do tend to see a lot of negative stuff. So sometimes I automatically assume certain people may be negative. So if there ever is convos where I, get it misconstrued, I apologize. It's never intentional, but I enjoy the, like we don't have to agree. These are all opinions. Like there's some stats, but at the end of the day, it's still opinions. So and I enjoy it. Like I can have my mind changed, and sometimes I can change people's minds on certain things. And so I'm not like, obviously, when you believe in something, you're going to be pretty stern on it. But I've been open to, changing my opinion or admitting when I'm wrong. But shout out Coheed. I enjoyed chatting with all you guys. So, and then let's see. Yeah, Colts and Jaguars to fold up soon. Rich Boy J, that third down play action pass to Schultz in the first drive was also really nice. Forever Royal, what's up, brother? Um, keep going. Let's see. Dallas, as long as we have average offense performance, we win every game because our defense facts. 13 points. That's all we need. Chris Mixon being hyping everybody up. Yeah, we need that. Tank being out there is good to see, says King Colby. I agree. Tank is awesome, man. Kane, thank you for calling out that Derrick Henry TD. I've been saying the same thing. Yeah, and like the broadcast just brush over, like, because the game didn't matter. But like, that shit matters, dude. Like fantasy betting, stats. I mean, that shit matters. Black Line, I thought the 2002 Buccaneers was the team that gave up 12 and the 2000 Ravens gave up 10. I could be wrong. You might be right. You might be right. I think you're right. I was looking at it earlier, but I think you're right. RG Chav, shout out. Third Coast Tom says top. Let's go. Brandon says Jags making trades. What the fuck? Sorry. Brandon, Colts may not win any games after week 10. Nosh, Texans on top, baby. Felt good getting our revenge back against Baltimore in person. Had a guy in my section who was crashing out big time. Oh, that's dope, dude. I like that stadium, man. That's cool that you got to go and you got to see a win. Looking good versus a bad team is not eye opening, but I did like Noel with the Ray Lewis Selly and the Baltimore first career TD. Yeah, that was hilarious, dude. Okay, and let's see. We got Engineer, my guy, Engineer. What's good, man? Shout out Nomad Scott. What a douche, Stressens. Good to see you, Scott. Um, and then Engineer says trade for a guard or running back like Brees or Kamara. Nosh says Seahawks fans getting cocky, seeing us on the schedule. Can't wait to humble them. Yeah, we're in a good position. We're getting overlooked now. And so yeah, let's go through. Yeah, we should get Njoku. I mean, if the Browns are having a fire sale, I'm gonna try to go. I try to like for the podcast. I mean, like I say this all the time, but I would like to do this like every day in shorter segments. But my schedule is I got one night and just binge this shit out. But I try and like be for people that may, like long form content on, whether you're here or you want to re-listen. And I'm sure most of y'all follow me on social media and see most of my stuff, but I try and put a lot of like, audio and clips in there for y'all to check out, to kind of have it all in one place. So yeah, let's see. I'll share my screen. Cal McNary got a game ball. Let's see here. That shit's hilarious, dude. He's a vibe, bro. Old Cal. And yeah, so we'll kind of just go through some clips that I think are important post game. Let's see here. Some press conferences. So yeah, I had posted, a clip earlier in the week when CJ Stroud was asked about his explosiveness, and he gave like what I thought was like a fun, candid answer, like joking, about being old and diet and this and that, with no intention of it being negative or being perceived or taken as negative. Went super viral, and everyone, took it as, shitting on him. Um, and so, he was asked about it, and he says exactly what we were saying. Like he was joking. So here's his answer to that after the game.
Nowadays, but it's all good. I'm, and if you watch the video or watch the press, I literally said I'm not in my grown man body yet, and I'm not gonna go there. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, I feel great, man. I think my strength staff has done a great job with not only just me but our team. We're moving guys. Our O line looks great. We're running fast on the outside. I'm a part of that. I think I'm a pretty athletic guy. But yeah, I was literally just playing. If you could see, I'm tapping my finger, just messing around. But everybody, always takes everything so serious. But yeah, it's all good. Yes, I feel like I'm, when I use my legs, I feel like I'm pretty dynamic.
Some good stuff there. I
I
mean,
was
obviously
literally,
he's joking, but that was a great run, man. I mean, that's what we want to see. Like, and it's tough too when he's like right there. Like, do you really want him to like really go for it and get hit and you try and get the touchdown? But hey, it worked out. Uh, Jose says, "You think you and Landry Locker / Cody Stutes will ever do a collab? I think you guys would make a good watch." And I'm cool and friendly with them. I don't know if they would be able to, but I'd be down to do it for sure. I know they're busy and got a lot of stuff going on, but those guys do a great job covering the team, ask great questions, have great analysis and insight. But yeah, that'd be dope. Um, and then let's see what else we got. Here's CJ after the game with Evan Washburn.
Growing pains offensively. How much farther can this offense go?
much farther. But I feel like we're hitting our stride. We're playing complementary football. We're hitting guys in different ways. That's deep balls,
Pause. Hitting guys in different ways.
to playing on time, to keeper game, run game. So we're playing a bunch of different ways offensively, which I think is a good switch up.
I know you were.
And you hearing that? That's a good switch up. To me, like when I watch interviews, like especially with players and like consistently watch them, you can pick up on like you can almost like get like a an idea of what's going on. Like to me, hear him saying switch up, that means this is me assuming, but I guarantee that Kaylee is aware of, hey, first 3-4 weeks out, we've put these tendencies out there. We now need to have counters and switch up. So that is what I kind of like assume from that. But um, and yeah, that was a big part of the game. Was we didn't talk about was how we spread the ball out to all these different people, and things that are happening is maybe that's by design. The play calls, you got easy schemed up looks, first read wide open, but it also can insinuate that Stroud is reading the defense and taking what they give him better. And also, you can't help but think that he is getting better at something where I've critiqued him on this that he needs to do is probably the main thing that I've said is that he needs to, for any young quarterback who's a playmaker and dynamic and is used to making big plays, is to have the discipline to take the check downs and the underneath and to even like running the ball when it's there to take it and get the yards. And so on that run play, drop back, man coverage, unaccounted for, boom, take off. So, I mean, I think he's doing that. He's getting better and better. And I think it's something as a young quarterback, you obviously know you need to do this and you're told you need to do this, but it's easier said than done. And also, game script matters. The more you get behind the sticks from penalties or sacks early on, the harder it is to really stay disciplined and take those checkdowns. The more your team gets behind, it's harder to do that. So, obviously, game script matters, but CJ nonetheless has gotten better at it. Engineer says saw Pop on the sideline reminded me of that one friend that's always ready to run a fade. Who's that? You said Pop? Not sure. Greg Popovich. But yeah, so we should just go through these stats. So we had 27 first downs, so there are 12. Third down, 7 of 12, and 1 of 1 on fourth down. LFG. And for them, 3 of 8. Total plays, we had 66. They had 40. 66 plays and 44 points is pretty good efficiency. Total yards, 417 to 207. We both had 10 drives. Yards per play, 6.3 to 5.2. We had 250 passing. They had 163. Rushing, we had 167. They had 44. Red zone, 4 of 5. LFG. And then they were 1 of 2. And the 1 was absolute bullshit. Penalties, only 4 for 26. All right. Okay. Penalties for them, 9 for 49. It's good to be on that side. Turnovers, 0 to 3. I mean, we dominated this game in every aspect. Time of possession, 36 minutes to 23. So dominated that, dominated penalties, dominated red zone, dominated rushing, dominated passing, dominated total plays, third downs. I mean, that's just good shit all around. CJ Stroud, 23 of 27, 244, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. and 2 sacks for 17 yards. His rating was 143.9. And then just going along, let's see. Davis Mills got in the game, started slinging that rock. And so that's what I loved about this game too was, even like I think in the third or fourth quarter, that British Brooks fullback dive in our own end on fourth down for a first down. Like to me, that was huge for me to see DeMeco being aggressive. Like he turned a page. Like he's been this conservative, lean on the defense, only score we need to. Like in a game where we're already beating that ass, he said, fuck it. I'm going to get the first down and keep this offense going and risk giving them the ball on our own and convert it. Like, to me, that was fucking awesome. And then the same thing, too, once Mills came in, I was like, as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, like, let Mills fucking throw the rock, dude. Like, this is valuable reps. Like, God forbid something happens, there is a chance that Mills has to come in a game. These are valuable live game reps to keep him fresh, to give him confidence. And I wanted him to throw the ball. The old DeMeco Ryans, in my opinion, would have been run, punt, run, punt, and just killed the clock. But they came out there running play action, letting him fucking sling it, and he was doing good. Like, he had some good completions. So, shout out that dude with hair on IG. What up, Stress? It's been a while since we beat on Twitter. Yeah, man, it's all good. That's what I was talking about earlier. I guess, that's what it's all about. We have friendly dialogue, so hope you're doing well, man. Engineer says my biggest thing with Stroud is the quick release. He had his last week, 2.5 seconds on average. That's what made Brady elite. Yeah, I mean, and he's been quick all year, honestly. And so I dispelled it today. Like, people are still trying to say that CJ Stroud is the problem and on these sacks is because he doesn't throw the ball away and he holds on to the ball too long. His average is like 2.7 seconds for the year. And out of like 35 quarterbacks, he's the 7th quickest. And then as far as like percentage of pressures that he is responsible for out of all of the people on the offense, O-line, running backs, tight ends, is only 8%, which is like, again, like 7th least amount. So like he is not like, yes, there's probably been a handful of plays here and there we should throw it away sooner, but it's not like this pervasive problem where he's constantly holding on to the ball too long and taking sacks because of it. It's a false narrative. And like, I think it's a product of us having been 0-3. Everyone's micro analyzing everything to find a reason why everything sucks. And we got all 22. We all post clips and watch them, and people like freeze, like, oh, you should have threw it away right there. It's like, dude, like, you're freezing time in milliseconds saying, oh, he should have saw this and saw that and threw it like this. Like, dude, no, bro. Like, that's not how that shit works. So yeah, that's a big thing. Cameron Covemaker, what are your thoughts on the Newsome trade? I haven't really dove much into it, but it shows Jags are aggressive. They got that Gladstone GM, Chat GMPT, and Cohen's aggressive, Browns fire sale. Yeah, I mean, they're going all in, and I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. I didn't see what the return was, but yeah, Cooper Rush was 14 of 20, 179, 1 sack. So he really didn't play terrible. Like, we forced him into what we wanted, check downs and, conservative. Like, his rating wasn't great, but whatever. But yeah, Derrick Henry, 15 carries for 33 yards, 1 touchdown. That was bullshit, for an average of, where's the average? 2.2 yards per carry. They had 44 total yards of rushing on offense. So all that smoke for that. And then as far as us on the other side, Nick Chubb, he only had 11 carries, 61 yards, 5.5 average. Stroud, 1 for 30. Mark, 7 for 24. British Brooks had 2 big carries for 15 yards. Yeah, and so let's see here. Christian Kirk had that big catch, 4 for 64 yards. This is us spreading the ball around. Schultz, 5 for 60. Nico, 4 for 52 and a touchdown. Higgins, 4 for 32. Brennan Bates, Master Bates, 2 for 23. Xavier Hutchinson, 3 for 18, but 2 touchdowns. Jalen Knoll, 2 for 13 and a touchdown. And Harrison Bryant caught a pass. So, spreading around, EJ Speed started, my dog. I'm trying to tell y'all. I've been on this rant the whole time, all offseason. I've been telling everybody, EJ Speed is more than a special team signing. He's going to beat out Christian Harris. Christian Harris is on the hot seat. Like, I said we could potentially trade or cut him. And now it's like, should you have traded him and gotten something? Because now he's inactive, healthy inactive. So EJ Speed kind of took over him in the backup role to Henry first. And then he started getting snaps over Henry last game. And now he fucking started as he should. Like, he is a beast. Like, he's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's aggressive, he shoots gaps, he's a good tackler. He had 100+ tackles the past 2 years with the Colts. And so, it is what it is, but it's great to see him come in, played well, played good again. Henry, he had 5 tackles, he had a TFL, so he can continue to improve, but maybe have more EJ Speed out there. Petrie balled out the 2 picks. Another guy who's been overlooked and shit on. Oh, why did we extend him? He sucks. Oh, he's a nickel. He's not a nickel. He's a linebacker. I mean, and you look at these routes that he's covering, they're all 10 yards and under, and he's fucking elite at it. It's like, if you look at him as a linebacker and you were to see, oh, look at that linebacker covering, like that is the best coverage linebacker in the league. And then he plays physically, run stopping, hitting like a linebacker. Do you see the fucking hit on Derrick Henry? He knocked his ass out. Like, and he's half his size. Like, he is a beast. But yeah, so those were kind of the big things there. But we'll go back to the timeline over here. Let's see, share this. Let's see on X. One sec, a little water here. RIP Astros. This is my 2022 World Series Cup. Let's see. Jose, I don't know if it's because I'm just not super knowledgeable in formations, but do you think having both Chubby and Woody on the field at the same time could lead to some really fun plays? Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just more wrinkles. Nosh, what are your thoughts on Scruggs? I haven't really dove into the film, but I know his grade wasn't good, but I think he might be better than Lakin, but I think we have a problem at left guard potentially to kind of monitor. Trevor Royal, Schultz was finishing blocks out there too. Yep, let's go. And then Nick Chubb outran a 4-3 cornerback on that breakaway run. Yeah, dude, he's looking spry. Nosh, Christian Harris is an afterthought now. Yep, got beat out by speed. I called it. And let's see. I'll kind of go back through some stuff here. So let's see. I don't want to do too many of like the game clips of the audio because they always mess with me for that. So let's see. I'm kind of scrolling through to find some clips for you guys. So yeah. So, DeMeco he's been telling the receivers as a psychological move to tell them to get ready to have their end zone celebrations ready. So like his thought process, which he said on Monday, is you tell them that now they're like thinking touchdown, and it gets them to now when they get the ball, they want to go score. And so Noel said he just thought of that move the night before, the Ray Lewis squirrel dance. And here is CJ Stroud on the O-line after the game.
I think Tay's done a great job. First and foremost, his mentality, his effort. He has God-given talent, and it just takes some plays. And like I've told y'all before, it takes failure sometimes. And I wouldn't say he's had like failure moments. Everybody has all like one play here, one play there. But I thought he's done a great job of just weathering the storm, staying committed, staying rooted in what he believes in, and that's himself. And I'm just super grateful that he's on our team. He's going to be a great player in his league. And then the rest of our line does a great job. I thought our plan today was great. I thought Cole and Kels and Jerry Gerard, our whole offensive staff did a great job, with the plan. And then, Titus you've been huge, man. He's playing at I think an all-pro level, Pro Bowl level. And he's, looks great. He's holding it down the right. Our center, Jake is doing great. I think, all of them are doing really good. Ed looks great. Juice has filled in and done a good job. So I can go on about those guys, man. I'm really proud of them, and we continue to grow.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, I agree with all that. Titus has been slept on. I don't know why this thing is down here. Freaking computer doing this. Hold on. Trying to get there we go. All right. Yeah, so it's good to see Titus get love. Ursary trending. Ed, obviously Jake. There's Black Lion. Shout out Black Lion. Oh, and then let's see. There's Nomad Scott. Shout out Nomad Scott. There's Jacob. His tweet says Texans pressure rate allowed since the return of Ed Ingram and Titus Howard at right tackle via next gen stats. Week 2, 36%. Week 3, 32%. Week 4, 28%. Week 5, 30%. So, yes, that's like what I was saying is it's been trending and been better. People assume we have like a 40 plus pressure rate percentage, and, it hasn't been. And so here is Stroud again on the O line after the game.
Yeah, our O lineman did a great job, and that's where it starts. I think I'm one of the best. When I get the time and I can deal it out. And our O line did amazing this game, and when that happens, Kels is calling a great game, and our receivers running really good routes. We've been getting better at practice every week, and I think that's where you see the growth. But yeah, it really starts with him.
Yeah, receivers running good routes too, running the routes the right way. And here was the Christian Kirk play I talked about before. The Titans we schemed open Christian Kirk, so he kind of motions back and forth a couple times, get a nice, easy schemed open look. So I mean, just simple stuff like that to help your guys out. Yeah, Jair Alexander trying to take the ball away from Jalen Noel was pretty funny.
I appreciate that.
Jack, can you take us through what led to that shoving match after that touchdown with the Texans receiver?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I seen him celebrating in the bank end zone. I didn't appreciate that while I was on the field. And then I seen him toss the ball to the ball boy, and then he tried to get it back. So I was just like, nah, you ain't getting the ball back. And they got mad.
He got the ball back,
Jack,
and he got punked by Higgins. Yeah, and so Damon Arnett came in, so backups came in, and he had a cramp, and that's when Kamari came back in for him and got that pick. So that was a pretty cool nugget there. Keep going up. See what else we can find here. Let's see. Some good stuff. All right. DeMeco Ryans on Stroud after the game.
Great for the most part, and some changes.
Yeah, offensively, I thought our offensive line did a really nice job of protecting. CJ had a lot of time in the pocket to make those decisions and make the good throws that he made. So really proud of those guys, and also running the football. Like, we were able to run for over 160 yards. For us to run the ball that way is a credit to our offensive line. It all starts there. Tight ends, receivers, everybody getting involved in blocking and staying with it. And our backs did another great job again this week.
DeMeco, what does it tell you?
And let's see. Watt, by the way, is awesome at calling games, was great. The broadcast was awesome, playing, Houston rap songs the whole time. On that Chubb run, there was some good blocking by Hutchinson and Kirk, so receivers are blocking well. Keep going up through there. And let's see. Cooper Rush. Trying to get through most of this without doing too much redundancy here. Nico after the game, wasn't anything crazy there. Let's see. So some of the takeaways I had: Juice Scruggs played every snap at left guard. Jaden Higgins saw a strong snap share. EJ Speed started and played more snaps. Texans ran 66 plays to the Ravens 40. Time of possession, penalties, turnovers. Talk about that. Keep going through. Ariante Ursary only allowed one pressure, third best, or he would, one of the best rookies of the week. Jose Garcia, who would you use as our bona fide number 2 receiver? I think for this offense to be successful, it's going to have to be a passing game by committee. I mean, before the season, it was Kirk, and he kind of been underwhelming. Hasn't really been on the same page. So I still think it should and could be him. He just needs to be on the same page with CJ. And then Royal, DeMeco locking in with the offense could have been what we're missing. I agree. He's definitely helped, I think. I feel like it's Nico wide receiver 1 and everybody else wide receiver 2. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, what we're doing works. So keep keep going through. Yeah, Noel posted, I got the ball. I do got the ball. But yeah, here's the Nick Chubb, all 22 of it. Let's see. But you can see blocking by the receivers. You got Hutch right here. Oh, this isn't even the touchdown. But yeah, Hutch blocked on this. This is the first drive. But look at that cut. He jukes the tackle in the backfield. And then just runs over his own teammate. He looked explosive, man. And EJ Speed, there's a clip of him balling. Here's him shooting the gap and getting a TFL on Henry. I don't think it's TFL, but going there and getting a tackle on him. Aziz blows up the right guard. I mean, this defense is ferocious, dude. DeMeco is getting certain types of players that he wants. Aggressive fucking guys that'll hit you. And then MJ Stewart, man, I mean, he's another player, everyone was worried about when CJ Gunnar-Johnson was gone, what they're going to do, rotate Petrie to high safety, rush back Jimmy. No, MJ Stewart is solid, bro. And he's a headhunter too. And at the very least, he's a reliable, consistent player that DeMeco can trust to be in the right place. And that's just what he did. So for 2 games in a row. And then here's a clip from Kamari Lassiter from Big Sarge after the game. This is awesome.
To be honest, I'm not really satisfied. Despite the play at the end of the game, with the pick and everything, I feel like that's expected. If the ball's in the air, we have a high standard amongst each other that every ball should be ours. So, what I'm focusing on, I gave up 2 other completions, one on 3rd down where it should have been an interception, and then another one back towards the end of the game where I feel like I should have intercepted that too. So it's just it's great that they would make a play, but I want to make every play. So I'm just blessed that God put me in a position to be around these guys, be coached like this, to be able to make a play like that. But I'm hungry for more. I'm not really satisfied. I don't really think that today, outside of us winning, me personally, I need to tap in. I need to dig deeper and go harder,
That's insane, dude. His mentality and perspective is insane. I guess no secret why he's good at football. And then Jacob posted this, said Ed Ingram is the highest graded guard on PFF. Tim Settle, 5th highest graded interior defensive line. Petrie, 9th highest graded safety. Schultz, 9th highest graded tight end. Let's see. And then going back through, we're working our way through. Here was Trevor Lawrence picking his nose on national television before he had a game-winning drive, which was the most crazy game-winning drive. And then DeMeco on Jalen Petrie.
Man, Hutch is the guy who's just shown what hard work looks like. You don't get a lot of credit. I think he's getting better in the background. A lot of people don't see it, but Hutch is one of the hardest working guys on our team, and there's no better guy to be able to get 2 touchdowns a day than Hutch because he's worked really hard for us. So proud of him for having his moment.
That was on Hutch. I guess I posted the wrong clip. That's pretty funny. You got a bunch of likes and no one called me out. This was hilarious. I'll play this. J.J. Watt talking about Kamari Lassiter.
An easy pick for Kamari Lassiter, who Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator, called him a card-carrying psychopath. And that's good. That is the best thing you could ever call a defensive player. I actually had them ask permission. I said, is it all right, Kamari, if I call you a psychopath on national television? That's awesome.
Oh,
yes.
And you know what? A psychopath would say that.
Yes, exactly.
That was a great exchange there. Card carrying psychopath. And then Jose, I'm scared of Stingley is going to play the whole season hurt and not be peak Stingley. He should improve. It's something he can play through, so he should only get better and better, and he's playing decent with it. Engineer CJ DJ situation is so weird. I've never seen a Super Bowl bowler fall off so fast. Yeah, man. I think environment, scheme, all that stuff matters for him. I don't know if he'll work in Baltimore or not, but they're in a desperate situation. So what else we got? Here was Casario's update on Mixon.
Mixon at all? Yeah, I think probably over the next, few weeks, we'll probably have a better idea. He's making progress, so I wouldn't put a particular timetable on it. So I think over the next 3-4 weeks, probably get a little more information here, kind of see how he's progressing. But, taking one day at a time. But I think once we kind of get to that period, probably have a better sense of, which way it's going to go, for the duration of the year. Go ahead.
I was going to ask Mick. And then Nick Cassera talking about C.J. Stroud.
Jay's progress or his performance through the first 5 games.
Yeah, he's done a good job. I think the last couple games, he's played the position the way the position's supposed to be played, made good decisions, been efficient. He's completed, 81% of his passes, hasn't turned the ball over. So, the reality is, and he said, I know, everybody gave him birthday wishes last week. He's 24 years old. He's still a young player. So even though he's played a lot of football, so you learn by doing, you learn by playing. Each year is going to be a little bit different. Each opponent is going to be a little bit different. Every situation is going to be a little bit different. So he's played pretty good football here the last few weeks. The most important thing, he's taking care of the football. So, go back to the Jacksonville game. We lost a game because we basically couldn't take care of the football. So if you take care of the football, you're going to have 75-80% shot of winning a game. So it's hard for, I would say, young players and quarterbacks to understand that. But the ones that take care of the football the best are usually the ones that play the best.
It goes along with, being disciplined and taking it underneath. It's boring cliche, but it's true. Easier said than done as well. And then here's Cassera on the O-line.
Only in the last couple of weeks when you kind of put in perspective the first couple and look at it in its entirety.
Yeah, overall, that group's done a pretty good
Grab
job.
water real
So we
quick.
had some moving parts early in the season. When I got hurt there Thursday before the Rams game, then we had to shuffle some things around. So I think the group that's been out there over the last however many weeks, they've played pretty good football. Ed's done a pretty good job. He's played really good football. Sometimes a change of scenery is good for everybody involved, probably in that situation. He's played good football. I don't know, he's like one of the top-ranked guards in the league or something ridiculous. I'm not saying he's the best guard in the league, but he's played good football. So Titus has played competitively. Jake's done a good job. So, Lakin and Juice have kind of rotated in there a little bit at left guard. And I think the more that Tay has played, the better he's played. He's made some, call it, younger player mistakes, which that comes with the territory. But he's a good kid, good attitude, builds on some of the things that he continues to do well. So, overall, the group has worked well together, making progress. Cole's done a pretty good job with that. So we're going to need everybody, try to continue to build our depth, which I would say, with Trent kind of going from the practice squad to the roster is really more a depth situation. He was off the roster, but, we felt like, all right, we had a roster spot. So, there wasn't any, shenanigans involved. I'm sure everybody's looking at, what the hell are these guys doing? But I think it was really, there wasn't more than meets the eye. It was just a simple matter of just roster, moving from one spot to the next.
I don't know, is that a guilty mind there? You're talking about the Trent Brown, cutting and then practice squad and then elevating. I wonder if he did do something weird on that. But let's see. Keep scrolling through. We got almost done here. Let's see. Going through if there's any more. Here's Casario on Nick Caley.
Sure, I think it's evolved. So anytime any of us are put in a position for the first time, you're going to have to deal with some ups and downs, and it's a learning process. So we've all been there. I've been there. Nick's going through it. You look around the league, there's a lot of coaches that go through that, but got a good attitude, taking the right approach. There's always a little bit of give and take, and, you want to try a little bit more of this, but maybe that's not the best thing for the team. Hey, maybe we're going to shift our focus a little bit here. So Nick's a smart guy. He's been around football for a long time, seen a lot of things. I think we've made some adjustments and modifications as we've gone. So we've talked about this. You probably figure out kind of what you have with your football team over the first 4 to 5 weeks. So, we have kind of 5 games in the bank here a little bit. So figure out what we're doing well, what are some of the things that we can build on. And Nick's done a really good job. He's had a good attitude, had a good approach, he's worked really well with the staff, communicates with DeMeco on a regular basis, communicates with the players, trying to figure out what's in their best interests, what makes them comfortable. Because in the end, it's about the players. So he's done a good job. Glad he's here.
He did seem to, I think good for him that they won the last 2 games because he was kind of getting a lot of, and rightfully so, criticisms. And so this presser was likely much less contentious, but I was curious to see how this presser would go, because him and DeMeco both have showed that they can kind of be irritated and be arrogant, at times, but he seemed to be kind of like DeMeco kind of changed after going 0-3, kind of like changed his tone and went from, this is just my observation. I could be right or wrong. So, but I feel like both of them, and then Casero is the first time we've heard him since, start of the season. He didn't come off as like cocky, and I mean, maybe a little bit, but like not as bad. Just an observation. But yeah, y'all talking about his idioms. He says, a lot. He says he has a lot of idioms. I'm sure I got little idioms too. But yeah, here's here's him talking about the Matt Burke decision. To me, this is like kind of smug. I think he's downplaying the decision, the DeMeco letting Matt Burke call plays like it's not a big deal, like it's still the same, and like he doesn't do anything else. Like, I think it's a pretty big deal, but here's his answer on that.
Let Matt take over some plays. From your perspective, what has DeMeco helped with it, or worked with the offense?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, DeMeco hasn't changed since he's been here day one. So, I mean, he's head coach. He's involved in everything. So, I mean, how he chooses to allocate his time, like he's always going to do what he feels in the best interest of the team. But the head coach is ultimately responsible for everything involved. So, honestly, I think, the whole Matt situation, I mean, the defensive staff, they meet together on a daily basis. So, I mean, there's no anything earth shattering there. So, I mean, how you call a game or who does what on game day. So, I mean, sometimes it'll be the same as it was a week before. Some things at times it'll change. So, in the end, our philosophy, DeMeco and our philosophy is whatever we can do to help the team, do what's best for everybody involved. That's what we're going to do. But, I mean, DeMeco hasn't changed.
Yeah, he just downplays it. It's been a big factor. He let go of play calling for a reason, so he could be more involved with the team, so he could be more involved with the offense. Why can't you just say that? Then Nomad Scott says, for those discounting the win against the Ravens, just ask, what if a good team played against them? What would you expect the outcome to be? It's the outcome you saw Sunday. Facts. Engineer, I think they've learned a lot from their mistakes, and 0-3 has forced themselves to look in the mirror. Now they're saving face and trying to downplay everything. And then he said prior it's called getting humble. Yeah, I agree with all that. And I think it's good. It was like almost a necessary evil. Hopefully we continue. And as I've said on here, I just hope that as things right, that they don't start getting cocky and be like, yeah, see, told y'all were tripping. Nah, we were tripping for good reason, bro. Let's all be real in this thing. I don't get why you have to put on a front of certain stuff. So here's some good stuff now. The Nico Collins mic'd up clips. Here's him, poking fun at CJ on his big run.
In trouble. CJ's going to run now. Takes it across the 30, the 25, angles right, 20, 15, right sideline, 10, 5. CJ to the pylon, and CJ is not in. He's short. He stepped out of bounds.
Ah! I got the wheel. Hey! Yeah, 7! Yeah! Hey, 7!
It's all learned. You good?
Hey, tell CJ he's slow as hell.
I told him that.
Hey, CJ! Might be a little slow. Hey, I ain't even see you. What's up? How you doing?
I think that was Bim again.
Trouble. CJ's going to run.
But yeah, so my takeaway from that is CJ, what we know about his personality is he's a shit talker, but it's all in good fun. People see it on these podcasts, oh, what an arrogant asshole. That's his personality. That's how he likes to have fun. And friends talk shit to each other. If your friends don't talk shit about you, then they're probably not your friends. And so that's playful talking shit. Even Higgins is yeah, I told him that too. They're giving him shit. So that's cool. And then here is Hutch after his second TD.
Hey, what the? Come on, no! No! What's wrong with him? We on that? Hey, what the?
Hutch yelling belt to ass. Nico saying we on that ass. I mean, again, minimize this if you want. You can't tell me this win didn't help this team. Hutch is all of a sudden now becoming a big factor, getting his confidence up. This is a good thing. I don't give a damn who the fuck it was against. This is good. And then here's the mic'd up sequence from Nico's touchdown. This is dope.
Here's the snap from Andrews. CJ looking, CJ firing over the middle, and it's caught for a touchdown.
On Wiggins.
Houston, Nico Collins for 6.
Hey, yeah! We do this! We do this! Hey, boy! We do this! Hey! Hold on, hold on. Oh, hey! my dog.
What we just talking about?
Flatten that bitch out for you.
Let's go.
I got you, boy.
What we just talked about, I wonder what him and CJ said. I'm going to throw you a touchdown.
Playmaker. You know it. You know it. You know it. What's up, man? Go,
Look at Andrews. I love to see that.
Hey, man,
Your center.
We funny. Put him up.
Mario Edwards, the defensive tackle, has a handshake with him. Tim Settle's got a handshake with him.
Ah! Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's a team, bro. Like, you got your defensive tackles that got handshakes with your number one receiver.
Hey, they can't with you. You know that. They can't with you. You know that.
That's my favorite part. Kaylee, let's see this.
Yeah. Hey, they can't with you. You know that. They can't with you. You know that. You know it. Yes, sir.
That is a benefit of being on the field right there. I know there's pros and cons of both, but that is a pro for being on the field as an OC.
Yes, sir. What? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just ran straight to two. Yeah. Right left. Crossfield. I ran that like a Chevy for real. Hey, 7.
Yeah, so he ran like an in route, and he said basically he ran straight to him and then just cut inside. He said Chevy. I think Chevy is like a type of route.
Hey, 7.
Yeah, so that was dope. Let's see. That's a good point. So, Mr. Schnebley, the Ravens and Titans were the preseason games this offense initially needed. I mean, they didn't play a lot, but they looked good in the preseason. So, I mean, that's tough. I don't know how much that really would have affected things, but yeah, CJ Stroud was on the cover of the Locked In playlist on Spotify. That was dope. Here's Nico when Jalen Knowles scored his touchdown.
2nd and goal from the 4. CJ fakes the toss to the left, throws back to the right, got a man. Knoll, touchdown, Houston.
Hey, get in there. Hold on. Hold. Oh,
Jalen Knoll, first career TD.
Hey, go stupid. Give me that.
2nd.
That's dope. And by the way, this is on the Texans YouTube. You can watch the full video. And then yeah, here was the play to so this is the big gain to Kirk that I was talking about. And so 2x2 with Schultz on the right side as the outside receiver. And let's see, it is a play action max protect, so a 2-man route, which we run a lot of. And what is going on here is that we've ran a flood concept where you have a crossing route running with CJ Stroud and the outside receiver here, stemming inside and then also running an outbreaking route, a corner route. So they're flowing with the quarterback, something we've put on tape. And so, but instead the wrinkle here is that Kirk is going to fake the corner and then break back across on a deep crosser, kind of intersecting with Nico like a Yankee concept. And right there, look at that. Sells it. Guess who gets beat on that? It's a safety, but yeah, I guess Wiggins, yeah. But anyway, the safety. But that's a great fake. Fully turns. And man, that's beautiful. And so I don't know. Maybe if CJ sees him sooner, it could be a touchdown. But I mean, shit, it can't really. But one thing I noticed too on this was a creative way to block with Schultz. Look at Schultz. He basically at the snap, this goes in and has a crackback block to seal the edge, which to the DN, they feel that and they're like, oh, this is a rollout. And so now he's thinking, oh, he's rolling out. This guy's here. But guess what? It's a fake rollout. Stop. And you end up getting hit by, oh, damn. Let's see. He ends up getting cracked or kicked out by Hutch. Hutch and Schultz take care of the edge. That's beautiful, dude. Great ball. Let's fucking go. Yeah, that was dope. And let's see. That's 5 minutes long. But yeah, so Landry had a pretty good conversation with Caserio talking about the New England Patriots system. Good questions. But to me, they were good answers by Caserio. Basically said, there's core stuff that's the same, but all offenses change. Like the Patriots offense from 2008 was different in 2000 whatever. Like it evolved itself. And then Landry brought up, the concern is like fans say this Patriots offense doesn't work if you don't have Brady. And, I get all those arguments. And, basically to me, like I mentioned, it's the person. There's no like this blueprint to the Patriots offense. Yes, there's similar concepts. But I'm not worried about it. And I agree and liked Casario's answer on that. And then this was, I believe Jonathan M. Alexander had asked Casario about his approach for addressing the O-line, specifically the interior, and this was his answer.
Careful about making assumptions that there were players that we didn't have interest in. So, I mean,
this was the one, and I guess he was kind of like, and it's tough too when you get asked questions that you probably think are BS, which the people asking him or us may not think that, but he was kind of testy with Landry and then kind of like realized like, hey, this is like an actual back and forth. Like, let's just talk about it and like end up being a good convo. He seems pretty pissed and offended by Jonathan here. And the way I perceived from what Jonathan was asking was, why did you sign Ed Ingram and Laken Tomlinson? And he even said, even though Ed's doing good, like, why didn't you do something different on the interior? And Nick takes it as like, you're insulting me, thinking this is how I perceive it. Like to me, he's taking it as like, hey, you're acting like I didn't try and look for guys, and that's his answer. But like, that's not what happened. Like, you signed who you signed. You could have signed other players. There were other players available that were maybe not to you, but to public perception, and even maybe now by how they've played, better than the options you had. At least with Laken, obviously we said Ed. Like I never hated on that pick or that signing, but or even in the draft, like you didn't draft guards in the draft, so now you have a potential glaring hole at left guard. But he takes it as like, of course we looked at everybody, but like that's not the question. Is like, why didn't you spend the extra $1 million? I can't help but think you looked at other options, but according to your value optimizing chart, it was probably off by 2%, 3%. This is just me assuming, and you didn't want to overpay, so you just went with this go with the flow, let the best deal come to me approach. That's what I think happened. But like this answer to me is kind of like I get the question can be messed up, but like, dude, it's a very legit question, and he asked it in a nice way, like preface it with like, hey, even though it's good, what was your thought process? But here's his answer.
About making assumptions that there were players that we didn't have interest in. So, I mean, look, I'm on the phone, like during the course of March, we talked to everybody. So I would say,
look at that body language, dude. I mean, come on, bro. Like, come on, dude. That's like what I don't like. And it's worse when it was real bad when things were bad. But like, come on, dude.
we were interested in a lot more players than maybe the picture's been painted. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if you don't acquire a player, then you pivot to the next option. So, I mean, I wouldn't say there's anything like different in our approach. So, yeah, I'm not sure who those players are, who we're exactly talking about, like what the perception.
Whenever he like does like this, that's when you know he's like being defensive. Like he kind of like jolts up. It's like, all right, dude, like relax, man.
Is like who's a top tier player. So, I mean, I think we kind of view it as in the eye of the beholder. So again, we've been interested in a lot of players. We made attempts to acquire a number of players. Sometimes it works the way that you think it's going to work, and then you got to evaluate the market and figure out what makes the most sense. So, I mean, that's the approach that we've taken since we've been here. It hasn't changed, and I think I'd be careful about just making an assumption of what our level.
I'd be careful about making assumptions. He didn't make a fucking assumption. You signed who the fuck you signed. You signed Laken and you signed Ed Ingram. That's it. He didn't talk about who you did talk to and didn't talk to. He's like talking about what the fuck happened. I guess it's bullshit, dude. If I'm Jonathan, I'm pissed at this answer. I'd be careful about making assumptions. He didn't make a fucking assumption.
Of interest was or was not in certain players.
That makes a ton of sense. Are you confident that?
That's crazy, man. Like that's the part where it's like, dude, you can't be doing that shit. Like I still am pro Casario, and like I've been more critical of him in the past, but like that's the kind of shit that makes you like, come on, dude. And yeah, so Hutch, here's more of Hutch and the mic'd up, being more confident.
Is that the ball? That was the first.
Bitch, that's how you get that.
Hey, I think everybody touched the rock, right? Everybody got to touch that draw? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so engineer says, my dad used to tell me if you can't take criticism, then you're arrogant. Yeah, I mean, it's like a life lesson. You have to, like, it sucks, especially like in a public arena, bro. Like, you're a GM of a football team. Like, yes, you may not like that part of the job, but it's part of the job. Like, it's gonna come. And like, I can maybe be hypocritical and say this here, and if I was in that position, I'd act different. But I can't help but feel like the way I would be like, well, yeah, that's a good question. Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but here's what I did. I wouldn't be a fucking asshole about it. I mean, I don't know. I say that, but and then engineer says Julian Edelman said on his podcast that Caserio dislikes confrontation. It's pretty obvious. He gets defensive a lot. And then he says if the players acted like the coach and the GM have at times, they would have been rung through in the media. Facts. And then he says keep the standard consistent. I agree. And then Jose says, I don't like how fucking defensive and combative Nick and DeMeco are. Yeah, lately DeMeco's gotten better. I think he kind of got humbled a little bit. But yeah, Caserio's gotten better, but that answer there was like, yeah, that's not a good look, which he doesn't care about. But like, come on, dude. Like, that's how you lose favor. You keep doing that, and then things don't go the right way. So this was cool too. Nico mic'd up, kind of not calling, but Petrie on his 2 picks.
God is good. God is good. Hey, you know what? Hey, if you're nice, do it twice. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Go get that back.
I'll get to your comment real quick after this. Captain Certified on IG. Just 1 sec. Appreciate you, bro.
5th again, throws over the middle, bobbled, and...
Hey, you know what? Hey.
Yeah, so first pick happens. Petrie says God is good. Nico says, if you're nice, do it twice.
If you're nice, do it twice. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Go get that back.
5th again, throws over the middle, bobbled and juggled and picked off by Petrie. He's got it. Jalen Petrie hauls it in for his 2nd pick of the day.
Hey, that boy touched earth.
Tips it up in the
Hey, that boy touched earth. Who said that?
And Jalen
Petrie
happened to be right in the area.
Hey,
in the air, and Jalen Petrie happened to be right in the air.
That boy touched earth.
Tips.
No way. Because Petrie juked the shit out of Likely. Was that him that said that? No way. Is that what's going on here?
In for his 2nd pick of the day.
Hey, that boy touched earth.
Tip.
Oh, man. That's what's going on, dude. That's crazy.
It up in the air, and Jalen Petrie happened to be right in the area.
Hey, five. Outstanding job, boy. 5. He ain't hearing me right now. He's not hearing me right now. 5. I told you. You nice? I told you. Do it twice.
Stroud will throw.
The vibes are high, man. This is a good thing. Let's go back. Let's see. Yeah, Kevin Bullock said to get 3. That DeMeco said to get 3. They got 3. And I was looking at the coverage rates, which has EPA, but Vikings are the best EPA defense. Texans 2nd. Jags 3rd. Rams are 7th. So, I mean, just kind of perspective there. And kind of scrolling back through a bunch of different charts and stuff going around. So did the Yankees lose? Let's see. Someone said that speaking of Yankees, did they lose? I hope they did. Let's see what else we got. And then are you sure that's Nico that said that? Because I know Nico's the one mic'd up, but you catch the other people saying it. But yeah, I mean that makes sense. But like it looked like Petrie was talking, but it sounded like his voice is different. But I'm sure it was Nico. But still, I mean, hey, it's hilarious regardless. And I assume that he's talking about him touching earth would be likely. And then here's Caserio on updates on some injuries. So I was some good stuff in this one.
An update on Jimmy Ward and other guys are on reserve lists like DeMeco Autry and Jalen Reed.
Yeah, Reed and Autry started practicing here last week, so I would say they're probably closer to playing than some others. J-Rock, probably, after another week or two.
So Jalen Reed, safety, and DeMeco Autry, D lineman, coming back soon is what it sounds like.
Probably be available here at some point to practice.
J-Rock is Jalen Smith. Probably start practicing, so 2-3 weeks potentially.
Jimmy's making progress, probably a little bit further out here, but he's been in the building working.
So Jimmy Ward is out a little further, but now you have no need to rush with MJ Stewart, and then also potentially Jalen Reed coming back.
And I think right now there's a little bit of gray just relative to Watson and Stover. At some point we'll see those players, probably not.
Watson and Stover, at some point we'll see them. Watson, I thought he was done. Stover, I thought he was done. Hey, if he comes back late in the year, fuck it, I'm down, dude.
As definitive as it is with some of the other folks, Kurt as well. So, we have some depth kind of off the roster in some different categories. So, at some point when those players are available, the expectation is they're going to be ready to go here at some point, be able to help the team.
Good to see. And then, Captain Certified on IG said, what do you think we need to focus more on? I don't know. It's tough to say right now. And he says, honestly, I'd love to see the offense go more up tempo because CJ's a lot better during 2-minute situations. Yeah, I think that just depends on the opponent. Like the offense looked good without as much of it, but definitely wouldn't hurt in my opinion. And then this was crazy. Not getting a lot of love for this. I mean, when I first saw Jalen Noel do the Ray Lewis dance, I'm like, oh shit, he did that. That's crazy. And then like after it happens, like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it is what it is. Like maybe he did it out of respect. I doubt it's like a taunt, like it's a personal insult. And then even if it is, like if that's taken that way, then fuck it, like stop us. We did it. Like okay, show it on the field. But here's Caserio with on Payne and Pendergast, Sean Pendergast and Seth Payne on Sports Radio 610 this morning about that.
We want the players to be excited when they score. I would say discretion sometimes is the better part of valor. I mean, I love Jay Noel, but I mean, that was an asinine move. So hopefully he can come up with a different dance next time.
That's where I was, because that's not Jalen Noel's personality. So I thought it was like, I thought Jalen Noel might have misguidingly thought that this was going to be a nice tribute to Ray Lewis. But
I wonder if he even knows who Ray Lewis was. I mean, Jay, he's a young kid, but I mean, Ray's one of the best players in the history of our sport.
That's funny.
So
See, Nick,
you just want to make sure. You just want to make, I want to think about really what you're doing.
Maybe. I mean, you're big.
Yeah, I mean, like you're kind of throwing him under the bus. I mean, it's either side. It's not that big of a deal, but it's like, come on, like it's not like. I mean, everyone has their own opinion, but whatever. And then Pause by Engineering says that Reed feels like he's going to explode on the scene. Pause. But I agree. And I feel like he and Jalen Smith are two guys that got with that mindset. Like they're hitters. Like they'll fit right into this aggressive defense. So, and then King Colby asked me to explain that tank meme. So, like someone posted like a picture of them laying down and saying, we still talk about you, and showing Tank Dell, but like they missed the person, like he's dead, like he's under the dirt and buried. And then Tank said, I ain't dead. What the fuck? That's what that means. Like, bro, I'm not dead, dude. I'm still alive. Like, I know you miss me, but that was pretty funny. Kind of going back up. Let's see if we miss anything. We're almost done here, trying to knock it all out. Almost 2 hours in, getting all the good stuff for all you guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I got some merch that I've been looking to release or drop, but kind of waiting on the right time. So I'll probably do that soon. Is the DB from UNC still with the Texans? Not sure who that is. Do you mean USC? Something about his demeanor screams monster. Are you talking about Caserio? All right, here's Caserio on Payne and Pendergast about pass protection.
Say there's any one thing in particular, and honestly, the pass protection on the whole has been pretty good. I mean, even when you look at some of the pressures or sacks, it's a situation where if the defense brings more than you can block, which is going to happen, what's the alternative and what's the answer? Do you have it built into the call? Other times where the protection was redistributed properly, I think the go back and look at kind of the first play or the first sack there against the Rams, essentially we got pressured. The weak safety was unaccounted for, but if we would have maybe redistributed the protection a little bit better, then we'd be able to pick it up. And then,
so he's kind of like putting blame, or I guess not putting blame. I mean, yeah. Putting like, hey, CJ could be better at protecting. And he cited an example in the Rams game, which after the game, Stroud said he missed a couple. So he's going to continue on here.
And we would have had a play. I think we had Hig, basically on a touchdown. So, those are things that are fixable and those are correctable. So, overall, pass protection is a combination of things, understanding protection, understanding where the issues are, where the blocker is being distributed. And then regardless of the call, the passing game is always about playing on time. So you look around the league, I don't think there's any plays that are designed for, you hold the ball because that's the goal. I think playing offense in the NFL, when you look at good offenses, you have 2.5 seconds on basically every play. So is the ball coming out in less than 2.5 seconds? Are you going to their first read? Are you working through your progression? Are there going to be certain plays when you maybe have to hold the ball for a little bit longer, potentially? But by the same token, you're just trying to make sure that you mitigate the risk and mitigate the problems and account for what the issues are on the other side of the ball. And there are times when the defense is going to do something where they have a better call that matches up against your protection. That's NFL football. But overall, the pass protection, we've done a pretty good job. And some of the issues that may have popped up or, some of the negative plays, they're very fixable and very correctable. So whether it's the protection being distributed properly, the quarterback moving in the pocket the right way, the ball coming out on time and going to the first read where it's supposed to go. Those are things that you can improve and correct, and we've seen kind of a progression over the last few weeks. So I don't think anybody's really concerned about the pass protection. Nobody's really, felt like it's been, that much of an issue, honestly. There's been a few plays where, defense has done a good job, or we've kind of made a mental error, but it's not a physical issue. It's more of just making sure that we're doing the right things. And going back to kind of, Sean's original question, if we focus on the Texans and doing the right thing that we're supposed to do, then, hopefully the result.
Yeah, so I agree. Like I've been saying, like the O-line pass pro hasn't been that bad. And then, obviously I can't tell for sure, but he's saying like a lot. To me, this comes off as like him putting a lot of the blame on CJ. Like he's saying, setting the protection, knowing where it's coming from, being on time, throwing to your first read, stepping up in the pocket. So I think that's part of it. Oh, Royal said Elijah Huzzy. Yeah, he is, but he's hurt. Yeah, he's going to be solid. That was a good pick. And so, yeah, I definitely think TJ can improve on some of that stuff, but I don't think it's like a huge issue either. And I posted this graphic as like a reminder, but like we've been talking about, first 3 games, 0-3, point margin -4, yards per game margin -48, and our opponent's current win-loss was 11-4. The first 3 teams we lost to are good. And then the next 2 games, 2-0, +30 points, +194 yards, and their current win-loss is 2-8. So yeah, who you play matters, and that is, perspective matters. DeMeco, on when he knew they would play well against the Ravens.
No, I felt it in our warm-ups. For me, I feel it in our warm-ups. How our guys come out, they're ready to go, and then it gets solidified on that first drive of the game, and see our offense drive down the way they drove down the field. It's like, okay, we're here. We're ready to battle today, and whatever it looks like, I know our guys are ready to drive the football. They're doing the things we already spoke about doing throughout the week. We're running the ball efficiently. We're winning first down. Like we're winning third down, playing physical. So when I see all those things get done on the first drive, I know we're in a really good spot for the game.
Did you say
ended? That's great to hear. You could tell right away. But they make excuses. We had all these. They had all these injuries, doesn't count. But here's Dan Orlowski, one of the few people that actually highlighted the Texans.
In the Texans turning things around, or is it just their competition?
Offensively, I'm so much more encouraged. First of all, the AFC South has become a gauntlet. It's crazy. Defensively, it's the best unit we don't talk about, but the connectivity of their offense is changing. Okay, 6 offensive linemen. It's a wave in the NFL. If you're not doing it, you're missing out. And that's allowing just them to fire off the football. 2023, it was this awesome under-center play-action in-breakers. We haven't seen them in the first 2 weeks. We've started to see them a little bit more in the last 2 weeks. And then their backs have been so good. Nick Chubb, I have no idea how he's doing it, but he's like their inside running back. And then this rookie, Woody Marks, is a really nice player out on the perimeter. And I think they need to get him more touches. The defense is violent. They go downhill. It's the best unit in the NFL that's not getting enough attention. But I'm so much more encouraged with the style of offensive football that they have tried to play and played in the last 2 weeks than they did the first 2 or 3.
I want to believe.
So, yeah, Dan spitting facts, same stuff I've been saying. And then here is Mina after that with her reply.
Up the first 2 or 3.
I want to believe.
Opponent.
I mean,
I'm with that.
Some busted coverages, guys wide open. The under center. It felt like CJ Stroud must have felt the best he's.
Busted coverages, guys wide open. I don't really think they were busting coverages. Again, I haven't really gone through the all 22, but I just didn't see guys running wide open. Yes, you had guys, get delayed off of scheme from motions and picks, but come on now. But let's hear the rest of it.
Felt in this game
like,
in
stylistically,
2 years.
at least it
but
looks
we've been
like
wondering where's the under center play action, where's Nico Collins on the deep digs that he's so good at. And you certainly saw it in this game. Granted, again, they were so unchallenged up front, it was hard to get a feel for it. But I think you're.
So it's okay, the O-line sucks, and then they do good, and it was well, yeah, they didn't get pressure. Well, then they did good. This is the belittling, mentality.
Point is good, which is that this defense is so good, and they've been so good. I'm put on the Rams tape, by the way. That they made Matthew Stafford work for every single yard. The offense doesn't have to be great. They just have to be competent, and if this is a step towards competency, then I will believe in this team again, but I really want to see them do it against
a real opponent.
That's good and fair, but you're also belittling in the moment. But yes, we do need to prove it. But you're acting like they did nothing. So I mean, this is funny. By Ursary, Big Sarge posted this.
Man, I looked up at that scoreboard and they were still talking trash. I was like, come on, bro. The game over with, man. Sorry, we got the dub. But nah, it was good, man. It was good competition.
He's gonna be a dog, dude. He's a big dude. Almost done. Yeah, points per game. Fewest points allowed in the league, 61 by the Texans. The next highest is the Packers with 84. And I'm pretty sure they had a bye this week too. So that is nuts. And then Dan, he had another great one.
And rightfully so, probably Denver.
He said the best unit that isn't talked about enough.
Who's the best defense in the NFL? I think if you asked most people that, they would say, and rightfully so, probably Denver or Philadelphia, Houston. Houston is the best unit defensively that doesn't get talked about enough because we've so focused on the offense and hasn't looked great. It looks better the past couple weeks and the protection has to get better. It still hasn't been exactly where you want it. But when you watch tape on Houston, Will Anderson destroys your run game. Danielle Hunter, great getting the quarterback. Linebackers as fast, as quick as anybody, in the secondary is a bunch of ball hawks. This defense gives up 12 points a game, 12. And if you look at them, I think they're 5th in total yardage or maybe 3rd in total yardage at 270. Pass yardage, it's $170 a game. Run 90 yards a game. They're outstanding, and they're middle of the pack in takeaways, middle of the pack in sacks. So it's not like they're riding the wave of turnovers or sacks. This defense, I know everybody wrote this team off the way they started the season. This defense is the best unit that doesn't get talked about enough. They're absolutely in play.
Facts, easily, and that's a good point too about how it's not some gimmick defense. It's real. It's just they dominate the game. They're not, getting a bunch of sacks and turnovers. They just dominate you. And then C8 Swift says, imagine if we lost. Facts. Imagine if we won by 1 score. Imagine if we won by 2 scores. We won by 30 points, and they're acting like, oh, that's no big deal. But, if we would have barely won, then they would have been, and it would have been even worse. It's just, you can't win. It's just crazy. But, yeah, keeping it moving, almost through the timeline here. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see CJ
the gap to spring him free.
Nick Chubb into the end zone on that run. Yeah, so he kind of goes out and chases him in. So, yeah, he's having fun. That's great to see. Let's see here, too. King Colby, he's right, And then over here, let's go back to here's DeMeco with John Harris and Mark Vandermeer.
Did you kind of sense that early on with the run game? Like, okay, we're dialed in on them running the football.
Oh, for sure. My main focus, as I told the defensive guys, is I want to build a wall. I want to build a wall and make sure everybody's playing with square pads, making him stop his feet. First couple runs, when I saw that, and then the thing that impressed me most when I saw how we tackled. Like, guys were body on body tackling. Like, we know we need to get better at it, and they showed it from the first couple snaps. Guys were swarming. It was 3 and 4 guys at the football. So when I saw that wall being built and guys actually taking our techniques and the coaching points, taking it to the game, it's like, okay, our guys are locked in. We're in a really good mental space. Like, it's going to be a really good game for us.
I was going to bring this.
I love it, dude. I mean, so again, like, oh yeah, of course, because the Ravens suck. Like, no, dude, like, like, regardless of the opponent, like, they were locked in. So, engineer, I knew someone would say that. DeMeco confirmed a conservative. Yeah, you talking about building walls, man. Definitely built that wall against Derrick Henry. And let's see what else. I think that's most of what I got up on the timeline as far as interviews and clips. Yeah, we did it, fellas. We did it. I got a bunch of more clips that I want to post and need to post, but I guess I can kind of spread them out now with the bye. But I mean, the way the Texans is, man, I mean, there's nonstop content. I'm sure there'll be plenty even with the bye, but I got plenty more clips on my phone. I've been waiting to post. Just been kind of busy, but yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I guess you can like the video if you're on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Follow me and everything. Go to my website. And yeah, I'll see if I can go live again later this week. If not, I'll for sure be live again on Wednesday. Until next time, we blessing. Appreciate you guys.